Hey guys, today's June 4th, and we're going to show you how to fillet and cook the trout that we caught today.
And if you didn't see the video of us catching them, it will post a link right below.
Alright guys, what I like to do first is I like to scale my fish because I think it has more flavor with the skin on. So you just take a knife across it like this.
And it's always very important to have a sharp knife because you could damage the meat and not get a good fillet out of it.
Exactly. If you kill something, you want to get as much as you can out of it.
Same with deer, especially deer.
And I love trout, so there's no problem with taking your catch. Just make sure you know what to do with it.
And if you're one of those people that catches just to catch it, trout, you can't really put them back because they don't do well. So just give them to a friend or somebody else that's fishing there.
Alright, that should be pretty good. And then take a fillet knife, Rapala, great knife. Then take the knife and put it in right about here, right behind the gill, and work it back and forth.
And what you're not supposed to do is cut them too deep or you'll get all the guts because we don't gut them.
Right. And then you'll be able to feel the backbone. And then you just take it to the backbone, and when you feel that, just bring the knife out straight across, like that. Try and get as much meat as possible. Just work the knife back, nice and slow.
The one that we think was pregnant?
Nah, I don't think this was the one. You just work it back nice and slow along the backbone.
And another thing is, if you have a fish that you think's pregnant, this is a great way to find out if it is or not.
Then you just cut that off. And then what you want to do is take your hand across and see if there's any bones. Like I can feel a couple up here, so I'm going to take that and just cut it right off. You don't want any bones in your fillet. And you feel that across, there's some right there. And then you will feel some in the middle, but the ones sticking up in the middle will cook down and you won't be able to taste them. So then you just fill this, cook it up with water. You just throw the fillets in there, like that. That'll keep them good and that'll wash them down. And you work to the other side.
Yet again, put it right behind the gill and right behind this, right behind this fin here.
Right.
You can eat the scales and the skin. It'll cook right off. The scales will, but it's always...
I always like to do it because I think it's just better.
Yeah.
And as you can see, look at all this grime and stuff on the scales.
And you don't really want to eat that.
Yeah. So then you just put it back like we just did. Feel the backbone and then just work along the backbone nice and slow like this.
Should I just throw that carcass out in the yard then?
No, we usually just throw them out.
Alright.
And we just throw the carcasses out when you're done, so that you don't want any unwanted animals. Just keep working along.
Or if it's, say, trapping season or something, keep the carcasses and they'll make great bait.
Excellent trapping bait.
And another thing that you can do, which we're not going to do right now, and we'll get to this in another video, is you can take the carcass, put it in just a Ziploc container or a glass container, put it out on the top of your roof for the whole summer, and what it'll do is all this will decompose into fish oil, and that's great for trapping.
Right. And as you can see, barely any meat wasted, if any at all. Boneless fillet, best eating. Just take that and throw that out. Alright. Alright, and then we're going to do this big brown that I caught. Nice brown. Again, probably 14 inches. Good fish. So again, I've come to find that browns don't really have as much scales as the rest of them, but I scale them anyway. You don't need those commercial scaling knives, just any old knife will work.
Yeah, I wouldn't waste your money.
It's really not worth it. This is a big, nice fat fish, long fish, like browns typically are. And again, down like this, cut across the backbone. Work it nice and slow, getting as much meat as possible. I cut a little too deep there, but it'll still be a good fillet once we get all the
And
bones cut off.
He did there, he cut it just a little too deep, and all you have to do is rinse that stuff out under a sink.
Right. See? Beautiful fillet. Barely any meat wasted. Just cut that off again.
And if you really want to, you can eat the heads, but
I don't know about that. And then as you can see there, those little pieces like that, the white stuff, you definitely want to cut off. That's not good.
What that is bone and bone fragments in it.
Right.
And that's not good for you. I mean, you can't really damage your body, but...
Right. Okay, then other side. Beautiful trout. That's good there.
And like with the rainbows versus the browns, like you said, browns don't have as much scales, so you can see how quick that went with the descaling, I guess we would call it.
Yep. This side's going a lot better. It's going to be a nice good fillet. And this is a great way to prep your fish. Waste no meat. It's nice and boneless. It's a great way to cook your fish.
Even if you don't want to eat them that night, you can just freeze the fillets and they're ready to go.
Right. Cut that part off there. Alright. Just throw them in the bowl. That's how you prep your fish.
Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to bread them and season them up, and we're also going to make spaghetti to go with them. Alright, what we need to do is it's not really a set amount, it's just however much you feel, but add all-purpose flour into a bowl. Add Old Bay seasoning. You can never go wrong with it.
Don't put too much of that on because that overpowers it quick.
It definitely overpowers it quick, but it's really good.
Right. Yeah, that's good. Look at that stuff. Old Bay. Love it.
Like,
it's probably good.
Yeah.
Just probably enough to cover the entire thing once.
Yeah. And then what you want to do is black pepper and sea salt. You definitely don't want to add too much of this either, but
just a little bit's great.
Yeah.
That's good. And then you really don't need to add that much salt.
Yeah.
Just that little tiny taste.
Just because Old Bay has a lot of salt in it.
Right.
Alright. That should be good for salt.
And then after that, you just knead it together with your fingers and mix all the stuff together.
But before you do that, you definitely want to mix it together with your fingers. That should be good. And what you do is take your fillets, put them in here, get a solid coat of flour and seasoning on both sides of it, and as you can see there, and just throw it right on a plate.
And then you just keep doing that with all your fillets.
Yeah.
Alright guys, we have our beautiful trout fillets here, and we're going to put these in about maybe 1/4 of an inch of good quality oil. Just set them in like that. And now once you set them in, you don't want to touch them. That ruins the cooking process.
And what you can do once they're already in is you can go back and add the rest of the mixture of the seasoning on top of them, like right when they're about done.
Alright, now you do that, and as you can see here, good side of the fillet, it's starting to curl up. That means it's starting to cook well. I don't know how good you can see that, but that's a good sign. Once the ends start to curl up and get brown, that's a good sign that you have some quality fillets ready to eat.
But what you don't want to do is cook them too long. You want to get them to where they're just perfect. I'd say, depends what temperature you're cooking on, it take about 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
Or just by eyesight, I mean. You know, lift it up. Just don't lift it up too much. That's not even close to done yet.
Yeah. One thing you can never do is walk away from fillets, because before you'll know it, they'll be burnt.
And you won't have a good fish.
And another thing that you can cook with fish, because they're not that filling, is you can make spaghetti or something, which we're just doing spaghetti now. But we'll get back to you when we're flipping them.
Alright guys, trout about ready to flip. Look at that, that's a nice
And that's
side.
a very good side. We cooked it for just the right amount of time.
Yep, perfect golden brown.
I don't know if you can see that because it's steamed, but
look at these nice sides.
They're perfectly golden brown.
As you can see, some of the sides are skin up. Skin's looking nice.
Yeah.
Look at that. That was a good one right there.
They are nice and breaded, and you can see the seasoning on them. So,
and it doesn't really take that long for the other sides to cook. So what you want to do, just turn your heat off, and they'll probably cook good enough.
And when you know you have a good cook, it'll start to bubble. Like the very outer meat will start to bubble. I don't know if you can see it, but alright, and once the spaghetti's like that, you should all know how to cook spaghetti, but you just usually start a lot and just go from there. Alright, we'll get back to you when it's done. Alright, and when they're completely finished, you got your spaghetti on one side and your nice fish fillets on the other. And they should be, if you do all the same ingredients we have, it should be like a golden, almost orangish color. But
the orange is the Old Bay, just so you know, just don't get freaked out.
It's just the ingredients. So if you try this recipe, comment, tell us how you liked it, and other than that, enjoy.